Happy Friday, everyone. So glad you're here today. Mrs. Gullimore is here as a guest teacher to help us with our lecture notes.
I wonder where Mrs. Diver is. I hope everything is okay.
I think she said she was going to Palm Springs to a science teacher's workshop this weekend. She is probably going to learn a bunch of new stuff to help our classes.
We will be doing 2 activities today. The first is a worksheet to help guide you with the screencast of the lecture notes for cellular respiration. The second is a share-out time about the article you read titled Why Study Photosynthesis. You will be discussing your reactions to the article with your classmates.
Well, that just means I can sit around and talk. She always gives us the answers when she is gone.
That's just rude. Mrs. Diver expects us to be respectful and responsible when she isn't here. Besides, if we do our work now, we won't have to do it when we get home.
Okay, settle down everyone. We are going to get started. I have 2 questions. Do we need to take notes on our article share time? And where do we glue down the lecture notes guide worksheet? You will not be taking notes for the article share. It is only a time for discussion. The worksheet will be glued down on page 58 in your notebook. It's a left side page. Since there will be a reflection on page 58, you also need to make sure you leave space when you glue it down. Let's get started.
Make sure you have these Chapter 9.3 Cellular Respiration Notes worksheet. You will be filling in answers as we go. Don't forget to think about the answers as you write things into the blanks. Later, we will be doing a reflection. This page is going to get glued down onto page 58. Okay, so let's get started. And remember, you can pause this video at any time in order to slow down and make sure that you review your information and get the correct answers in the blanks. Cellular respiration is the process in which mitochondria break down the food molecules to produce ATP. Remember that food comes from sugars and plant products that are made during photosynthesis. So you have photosynthesis that happens in the chloroplast and respiration, cellular respiration, that happens in the mitochondria. There's no section in your notes for this slide, but it's a good representation of the relationship between respiration and photosynthesis. Cellular respiration has 3 primary stages. The first is glycolysis, the second is the citric acid cycle, and the third is the electron transport chain. I know we have seen the electron transport chain elsewhere in photosynthesis, but this one is quite different in some ways and similar in others. First off, we do need to compare aerobic and anaerobic processes. Anaerobic is a process that does not require oxygen. Aerobic requires oxygen. And I'm going to stay on this slide for a few seconds because there's quite a lot to fill in. How are aerobic and anaerobic processes similar? They both produce ATP. However, there are several differences. Aerobic processes require oxygen, and they occur in the mitochondria of the cell. And then they have a big payoff. They produce 36 ATPs. Whereas anaerobic processes do not require oxygen, and they occur in the cytoplasm of the cell rather than in the mitochondria. And they only produce 2 ATPs, so the payoff is much smaller. So remember, aerobic is a process that requires oxygen.